Look, I know the polo and the flower is not working together, but my transition goal is to be a fashion disaster, so I think I'm pretty. Way there, right? Hi, I'm stuck in bed, and now you're stuck in here with me. Welcome to what I hope will be my first installment of a series I'm calling More People Need to Know About This, or Mapping Cat. And today is Black Market Bread Markets.
Bread. Bread!
The hero of our story is Claude Wickard. He was, in 1943, the person in charge of the Agricultural Department and the War Food Administration Department. So he had this brilliant idea that he could ban sliced bread in order to save on wheat, steel, and wax. No one's entirely too sure how this was supposed to work. There's a lot of theories about it. Well, it would save on wheat because since the invention of sliced bread, bread prices and consumption had gone up. So with that going up, it was thought, well, if I get rid of sliced bread, because that's what's making the bread consumption go up, there'll be less people eating bread, and therefore that'll save wheat. Little flaw is that, well, it didn't change anything. It really didn't. And the other thought was that since sliced bread goes stale quicker, it needs thicker wax paper. So if there's no pre-sliced bread and people are just getting the whole loaves, then they wouldn't need to use such thick wax paper, meaning that they would save on wax. And finally, the third thought is that in saving for steel, the machines that slice the bread use steel in their production. So his original thought was, I'm going to save steel, I'm going to save wheat, and I'm going to save wax. And all those savings can go directly to the army. But he was wrong, because people were not ready to give up their sliced bread. Sliced bread. The best thing since sliced bread. It was huge. People had written into specifically the New York Times, and this one housewife wrote this really long letter that was like, sliced bread is necessary for the saneness of my household, and about how hard it is to cut bread, and like with the amount of people, you're making 2 sandwiches for everyone, that's 22 slices. Which, it always struck me as odd that people would be like, oh no, you can't take away our sliced bread, when there was like so many other rationing happen. Like, they were rationing rubber, they were rationing nylon, makeup, oil, gas, meat, and the thing that starts the letter campaign is sliced bread. Somehow sliced bread was more important than gasoline and meat, apparently, and flour and butter and lard. It was very, very weird. Especially, like, nowadays, the new hit thing isn't sliced bread, but that was a pretty recent invention in 1943 when the ban was initiated. Because sliced bread had only been invented in 1928. But you think about it nowadays and you're like, it doesn't seem that important. It's very weird to cause an uproar over not having sliced bread. Only very strange. And what's even funnier is that these measures were actually enforced. For the 3 months that the ban was in place, there were fines given for any bakery that sold like pre-sliced bread. And one of the bakers that was originally on board with the ban wound up getting fined for selling pre-sliced bread. And there became a sort of black market to like get pre-sliced bread.
Baker Town without its bread was revolution without rights.
So in the end, it really didn't work for anyone, because there were like, people were determined to keep selling their pre-sliced bread, because any bakery that didn't was losing customers to bakeries that did. Even though it was banned at the moment, companies were still doing it because consumers were still demanding it. And in the end, it never really saved wheat because the same amount of bread was being consumed. It didn't save steel because the machines to slice the bread were already made. And it didn't save wax because companies were still selling it with the wax. And in the end, Claude Wickard had to revoke the ban, and he said, well, it didn't have the savings we thought it would, and it was just too much work to try and enforce when everyone was already going around, like, buying and eating pre-sliced bread. It didn't make sense. The ban only lasted 3 months, from January 18th, 1943 to March 1943. But yeah, that's the story of how they tried to ban sliced bread and how there were black market bread markets. Anyways, I was stuck in bed. You were stuck here with me. But now you may go and live your lives. Go, be cute, be gay, do crime. Bye.
Her name was Flora Spread, and she lived on Hovis Hill, overlooking Baker Town. From the window of her flour mill, the bright lights of the city fueled her longing to create with the innovative bakers with whom she knew she could relate. She saw the cakes they cooked and the muffins that they made.